Bison Postgame Show with the Forum's Jeff Kolpack, Mike McFeely, Eric Peterson. I'm Sam Goetzinger. North Dakota State wins this rivalry matchup 41-17 inside of a packed Fargo Dome. That was cool to see. The story of the game, though, Jeff, Cam Miller, he goes down in the third quarter, does not return to the game, but from what it sounds like, he'll be okay.
So I wonder, as we sit here, how many fans are going home or having dinner or having a couple drinks going, how's Cam?
Mm-hmm.
How's Cam? And I think, I'm no doctor, but I think it's a sprained ankle is what we take.
Yep.
Tim Polsick said he could have gone back into the game. They taped it up. But obviously with the score, what it was, there's no need for that. But I think he'll be week to week, I would imagine. I think he'll be fine, and I don't think it's anything major.
Yeah, the buzz on the sideline sounded like a sprain, but how's Cam was definitely the question of the day down here on the North Dakota side. Mike, what do you think overall on this? They left no doubt out there for sure against UND.
No, last year the story, of course, was that UND is so much better in the Alaris Center, and maybe that's part of this is that they're better up there than they are anywhere else, especially here in the Fargo Dome. But there was a talent gap there as well. North Dakota State was the better team. They controlled both lines of scrimmage. Their quarterback was significantly better, just being able to get the ball downfield, being able to move the chains. And NDSU dominated from the start. 41-17 doesn't lie. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was surprising. Maybe the final gap was a little surprising, but UND just defensively couldn't get the stops it needed and just never really had any momentum going. And from the opening kickoff, when TK Marshall dropped the ball and ran it 40 yards or whatever out to midfield, just NDSU grabbed the momentum from the start and never gave it back. And UND was the 7th ranked team in the country, and they probably won't move much because they're still a good football team, but you saw a gap today between number 2 and number 7.
Eric, they got that redemption from last year's blowout up at the Alaris Center. What did you think today?
I just thought the one question I had coming into this is if NDSU was going to have struggles, it would be not being able to stop the run. UND only really got the run going on maybe a drive or two in the second quarter while the game was in question. Back to the quarterback thing, you have Cam Miller, who started nearly 50 games in his career. Simon Romper, starts 6 in his career, and that was just evident, just the experience factor at a very important position. And NDSU's run defense, which seemed to be kind of up and down or at times not great early in the year.
Polsick was a little fired up in the post-game press conference talking about the run defense. He's like, I can't wait for the questions about the run defense.
Okay, it's 2 in a row. We'll give it to you. It's 2 in a row.
It's a trend. Remember last week I said one game is not a trend. Right. Now it's a trend.
And I think the difference really has been Sam Young going to strong safety because, strong safety is tougher than free in that you have more responsibilities. You have run, you have pass. And he's a fifth-year guy, and like we said in the pregame show, his dad's a coach. He's a smart guy. He knows football, and I just think he looks more at home there.
I think the NDSU's defensive line has been unbelievable the last couple of games.
I think the tackling's better, and if there is a missed tackle, it's turning into a 15 at the most 20-yard gain. You're not seeing the 70-plus home run ones that you saw at Towson. You saw against Towson and East Tennessee State, and I just think if NDSU tackles better and Tim Polsick said they're condensing things. Like he said, East Tennessee State really stressed their defense, made them play in strict. I don't know he threw a bunch of terms at us. But
the Bison look like the Bison of old. I don't know if they have as much, overall talent as they did, when they won the national championship in 2021. But they look like the team that we recognized for all those years. 22, 23. They had trouble stopping the run. They had some issues at some positions on defense. I don't see those issues right now. Again, probably not the dominant team they were 5 years ago, but they're plenty good. And I would say right now there's 3 teams in FCS that are in the mix for national championship at this point, and one of them is right here in Fargo. And one of them is Brookings, and one of them is in Bozeman, Montana.
And back to the Cam Miller thing. The thing is, they might say he's okay, but an ankle is always tricky. Is it a high ankle sprain? Is it something that can be aggravated? So it is going to be something to watch. It doesn't sound like it's the serious, horrible injury, but ankles can be tricky. So that's something I think to keep an eye on as NDSU moves through the season.
I rolled my left ankle yesterday walking my dogs. I had a heck of a time getting out of bed this morning. So I know how Cam feels. I'm kind of hobbling around today, but we'll see how he turns out at Carbondale next week.
Good analogy. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm glad we found that.
Elite athletes can recognize one another. Game recognizes game, Jeff.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll heal up as quickly as Cam Miller too. So anyway,
41-17 the final. You guys got any final thoughts that you want to share at all?
I think NDSU is kind of starting to put a stamp on this season. They won, obviously, their non-conference games against FCS opponents, but now you go on a road game against an Illinois State team which had ran the ball pretty well. You put a stamp on that game, hold them to 8 yards rushing, and then you get a rivalry game against a team that demolished you last year in Grand Forks, and NDSU responded. They didn't mess around. They came out, got a 14-0 lead, and just kind of cruised their way to victory from there. So it seems like they're trending in a good direction, and that's, defensively, and they're starting to get healthy at a few spots. So I think through 2 games in the Valley, they're probably positioned as well as you could.
Receivers are deep. God, they're deep at that position.
Yeah, I wrote 2 weeks ago that this 4-game stretch that we're now half through was kind of the key stretch of NDSU's season. They had Illinois State, UND, Southern Illinois, and SDSU. They're halfway through. They're 2-0, and they look dominant doing it.
That's a good point.
And Southern Illinois is, we think, struggling with some injuries. They lost their quarterback for the year. So if NDSU can go down there and take a win out of Carbondale, then the game against SDSU is going to be 1 versus 2. And to use the phrase again from old Scotty Miller, they're going to be hanging from the rafters at the Fargo for that game. That is going to be a madhouse in here.
And
if NDSU can get past Southern Illinois next week.
And South Dakota State looks like they're trending in that direction too.
And
They're up big at halftime at Northern Iowa.
Yeah, the Jacks are good. I mean, let's not.
So
fool
no
ourselves
ESPN
here.
game day in 2 weeks if everything goes according to plan.
Bison game day. That'll do the trick.
That's fine. Yeah.
That'll do the trick.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, God, you're stepping all over Sam.
You just want
I'm part of that show too.
I guess you just want to Heisman Sam to the side here.
Ixnay on the ESPN game day nay.
Well, Mike said it. Southern Illinois is on the schedule next. The Bison go down to Carbondale. Can't stress it enough. That is the Missouri Valley game of the week, so it is exclusively on ESPN+. For Jeff, Mike, Eric, I'm Sam Goetzinger. Appreciate you for joining us. We'll see you next week on the Bison Postgame Show.